Hi, this is Chukwudun from Duse Farms. Welcome back. Today we are going to be talking about how do you prepare for the arrival of your day-old birds. The steps that you take and how well you prepare your pen for the arrival of the new ones is actually one of the things that will determine how well your birds will do. A lot of people just don't see the importance of it. But I assure you that whether you have bacterial infections, early bacterial infections, whether you have early viral infections, whether you have early coccidiosis, a lot of these are determined by how well or how clean your pen is. So investing your time and energy in cleaning, disinfecting, and preparing your pen for the arrival of the new ones is crucial to the welfare of your birds. Just like when you have a new baby, I don't know anybody who gets a new baby and brings the baby to a very dirty house. I think most people will clean the house, most people will probably paint the walls or get new sheets or at least wash and disinfect old sheets. So you make some preparation for the arrival of the baby. The same way, arrival of birds in your farm is not an emergency. You planned for it. You knew ahead of time it was coming. So you prepare for it. So let's go through the steps. The first thing is you've harvested your birds, you've sold them off, you've done what you need to do. Now, the first thing you do as soon as you sell your birds off, whether you're bringing new chicks in a week's time, 2 weeks' time, 6 months' time, it doesn't matter. As soon as you remove the old birds, you've sold them off or you process them, is you remove the litter. So you remove the litter immediately, the following day, if not the same day. The second thing you do is then, after you remove the litter, you notice that there'll be some that are caked, that just didn't come off by sweeping. So you scrape it and sweep off all the litter. Now, the third thing you do is you remove all the tarpaulin. The reason it's important to remove the tarpaulin is one, so you can wash everywhere well. You can wash the tarpaulin and disinfect the tarpaulin well. Also, you need to wash all the corners of the walls, the ceilings, because there lies all the bacteria and all the viruses and anything that's happened to your birds in the past couple of weeks. So you want to remove tarpaulin so you don't have anything hidden. You want to wash and disinfect tarpaulin, dry it in the sun before you put it back. So that's the third thing you do. The fourth thing you do is to remove your feeders and waterers. So your drinkers, you remove them. The feeders, you remove them. You take them out, you wash them, you disinfect them, and you put them in the sun to dry. Because as most of you know, the sun is a natural disinfectant. So then you wash the floor. The sixth thing you do is to wash the floor. Do it 3 times with soap and water only. Do not use detergent at this time. So wash the floor 3 times. First time, let it dry. Second time, let it dry. Now, if you can, there's a machine that the car wash people use to wash cars. Rent one or buy one. I have one. I bought one. But if you can't afford to buy one, try and rent one from the car wash people. They can come in the evening time and clean the pen for you. It will help you clean from the ceiling to the walls to the floors in a way that only brushing cannot do. So you need it. So that's how you thoroughly clean the place. So you wash with that machine. After you wash, then you spray the ceiling, your walls, and your floor with that machine, and do not wash the disinfectant off. You let the disinfectant dry on the surface, because if you wash the disinfectant off, then depriving the disinfectant from doing its job. So it's important you leave the disinfectant. The other thing you do, which is the 8th thing, is you paint the floor. I have a process, a video coming up after I just said what I'm going to say now, that shows you how to paint the floor and 2 feet up the wall with cement and paint. That's a process. Okay, the video will explain it. A short video will explain it. So essentially what you do is you buy 20-liter paint, the common paint you use, the emulsion or water-based paint. You take 5 liters and put in an empty 20-liter bucket. Then you fill that bucket with the 5-liter paint up to the top. You mix it very well. Then you start adding cement, and you stir the cement, the mixture. As you put cement, you keep stirring until it forms into a paste, like you have a toothpaste. Once you get that paste, then you take a roller and paint the floor and 2 feet up the wall. And the reason you paint with cement and paint is because there are viruses and bacteria and the oils that causes coccidiosis that disinfectants may not be able to eliminate. But by painting, you're absolutely sure that they're kicked into the floor. They will not give your beds any problem. So you're essentially getting a new house by painting the floor and 2 feet up the walls with this mixture of cement and paint. After you have done the painting, you give it 2 days to dry. Then you hang your tarpaulins, you push wood shavings on the floor, and you buy brooding paper or newspapers to use. I have seen people use cartons. Never use cartons. Cartons are bad for a number of reasons. One, you do not know where the carton came from. Most of them are infected with some kind of bacteria. So you don't want to use cartons. Number two, cartons do not absorb as well as brooding paper or newspapers. So when you use cartons, it's not good for you. So do not use it. And then because they don't absorb well, you are likely to have some kind of bacterial infection by continuing to use it for more than 1 day. So it's not a good idea. I don't know how people learn to use cartons, but don't use it. The other reason is because it's not good for the birds. The birds are not very good at moving a carton. They can get injured because it's not very good for them. So avoid cartons. After you put in your brooding paper or newspaper, then you get in your feeders and you get in your drinkers. The other thing you have to do to start preparing, because it's a lot of things you have to do. One of the things you will know that you need scales. If you're a farmer, you need scales. You need scales to measure your drugs. You need scales to measure temperature. You need scales to measure the weight of your chicken. So this is very, very important. Then the other thing is to check your generators or the light source you're going to use. If your generators are giving problems, then you make repairs. The other thing you have to do is to wash and disinfect your heating cones and charcoal pots. It's a source of bacterial infection, so you really want to clean it and disinfect it. The other thing is to check your light bulbs, electrical outlets, to make sure everything is working well. At that point, you probably have to start thinking in a few days to your arrival of your beds. You have to start thinking of buying diesel, fuel, kerosene, charcoal, gas, whichever is applicable. If you need to buy water, if you don't have a well and you need to buy water, then make arrangements for it. You also need to buy a syringe you're going to use for vaccination, because you're going to do vaccination the first day. Now, 2 days before your birds arrive, you start boiling and storing water. You're going to use boiled water, like I strongly suggest in my other videos. One of the things you want to do is to go around and make sure that there's nothing there that will harm your birds, like nails, openings that they may stick their neck. Then you get a temperature guide, get a temperature recording sheet, and your broiler schedule. All this you have ready before they come. The day before your birds arrive, in the evening, put charcoal throughout the night to warm up the room. It's important for the room to be warm. Remember that they're going to be stepping on the floor, so you want everywhere to be warm. Then you buy your feed and brooding drugs. You don't buy them the day you get the chicks. Get everything ready before your birds come. So the only thing you do on the day your birds come is to collect the birds, buy your vaccines, and once you get to your farm, by the time you get to your farm, the water and the feed is already set for them. So as soon as you vaccinate them, they start eating and drinking. And of course, you maintain a warm atmosphere, depending on the weather. Now, As the birds arrive, there are a number of activities we do on a daily basis. You check for sick or distressed birds, you check for mortalities, you move all birds around to see if any is injured or sick, you check water and feed, you check litter, you check temperature continuously. At least for the first 3 days, every 2 hours you have to check. The temperature has to be optimal. You wash your drinkers and disinfectants, you change the liquid in the food bag. Every morning and every day you check the color and texture of the pool. If you have any changes, you report either to your mentor or to your vet. You make a record on the broader schedule of the feed consumed and anything you observed. From day 1 to 21, as I said before, boil water for use the next day. So the water you're going to use tomorrow, you boil it today. Again, you put water and medication in small drinkers. You use 1 drinker for every 25 birds, 2 drinkers minimum in a room. But if you're using bell drinkers, you have to use 1 for every 50 birds. Put feed in feeders. You use round red plates and red rectangular feeders with the holes, the ones with the flippers. You use 1 feeder for every 15 birds. This is key to having great and even growth in your birds. They have to have more feeders so that everybody can eat at the same time. If they're fighting for food, that's not good. So it's important to have about 1 feeder for every 15 birds. By the time they get to day 30, you want to make it 1 feeder for every 10 birds. And you also throw some feed on the paper. The first day they come in, you sprinkle some feed on the brooding paper or the newspaper, but not too much, just enough for them to eat for the first few hours, and you don't put any more. Of course, you give your best Lasuta IB the first day. When you have your birds on the floor, after you get them, make sure everyone has tasted the drink. So you watch out. What you do is let's say you have 500 birds. You put all of them in the carton, put them on the floor. You watch the ones running around and eating and drinking, you leave them alone. You're going to find some that are so tired or sleepy that they're not doing anything, they're just lying down. Those ones, get them and dip their mouth in the solution you have, usually vitamin or whatever solution you have for them. And that will awaken them, and so they will drink and start eating like others. If you let them stay, they might just die from thirst or being tired. You want to check your temperature and make sure it's between 29 degrees centigrade and 33 degrees centigrade the first 3 days, and humidity between 50 and 75%. As I indicated earlier, using your temperature gauge is key. You must buy the temperature gauge to use, so you don't give your chicken more heat than they deserve. So this guide will guide you, but make sure that temperature you're giving them will be in this range. Then on your broiler schedule, you record the number of birds, the name of the hatchery, the time and date it was delivered or arrived at the farm, and which pen is housing the birds. And then you check the weight of the day-old chicks as they arrived, and you record every week your weight gain. Also, when you let the birds on the floor, make sure none is drowning in water. So you have to be with them, make sure you don't have any that's drowning in water. After you've done all of this, you leave them for the next 2 hours to rest. It's important you give them that time to rest. So you come every 2 hours and check on them. Every 2 hours you check the feed, you check the water, you check the temperature. One other thing I have to tell you is that do not put too much feed at any one time. Just like when you have babies, you don't stuff the feed for your babies all at one time. You give them small doses. You should feed them for the first week 5 times a day, small amounts. Every time you put new feed, it makes them want to eat. It smells good, it attracts them to eat. So that's how they're going to gain weight, by eating well. Well, if you gain from anything I've said in this video, please subscribe, share, so other farmers will get the information. Please comment, ask any questions you may have, or give me suggestions about other videos that will help you become a great farmer. Thank you.